9 of those victories coming by way of knockout. He is a 2016 Olympian from Rome, Italy, Guido, the Gladiator Vianello!
Guido, Ronnie, you receive your instructions. Keep it clean. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Trunks are good. Trunks are good. Touch them up.
Joe Tessitore alongside Tim Bradley and Andre Ward ringside. Our ringside reporter, Bernardo Osuna. We will hear from Mark Kriegel in moments as well. A night of heavyweights. Vianello and Rice followed up by a significant heavyweight fight between Ajagba and Shaw. Vianello and Rice, round number 1. Vianello, Timmy, who obviously the opponent change that set up this entire card because he was originally scheduled to have what would have been the toughest test of his career against Stephen Shaw. But Shaw was elevated to the main event when Oscar Rivas suffered a detached retina. So now what does Vianello have in front of him with Rice?
A guy that he knows very well, a guy that he sparred many rounds with in the gym. Over, I would say, 30 rounds. So, but what he's going to have to do, he's going to have to do something that he hasn't done in the sparring sessions to surprise Rice with something new.
Rice is fighting his 4th undefeated opponent in his last 5 fights. Vianello 10-0-1, only 31 total pro rounds, his first 10 rounds.
Johnny Rice is a guy who has had a lot of sparring rounds with a lot of big names in the boxing world. He's a veteran in the sport, and he's a guy you just don't know who's going to show up depending on what headspace he's in. He says, I struggle with confidence. When I'm confident, you see the good Rice, and when I'm not, I never know. So I want to see what Johnny Rice showed up tonight.
You know, your confidence go by the wayside the longer you stay outside of the ring. You have to understand that Rice has been out of the ring for over a year now. So I'm not sure how his confidence is going to be starting out.
He's coming off the longest layoff of his pro career, in fact, a year and 13 days to be precise, Tim.
Yeah, that's long. He said that after that coffee fight, he said he took off of work. He actually quit his job. Said he made over $100,000. He thought he can quit his job. He really wanted to focus, and he thought that would open up doors for him, and it didn't. It actually closed doors for him. But he's getting an opportunity tonight, Tess, and he needs to take full advantage of it.
He had been on a stretch of losing 2 of 3 fights. Then he scores the upset of Coffey. You mentioned that. That was July of 21. Then comes up with the victory in the rematch as well. And that was New Year's Day of 22.
Oh, nice stab jab right there from Guido. Reaching with that right hand. One thing about Rice is he's definitely seasoned. He can fight. He's a big man, but he's very athletic and deceiving in times. He can release a right hand out of nowhere and catch Guido. Ooh.
Ten seconds.
Vianello and Rice coming to the end of round number 1. Heavyweight co-feature before we get to our heavyweight main event from here in Turning Stone Casino. It is Top Rank Boxing on ESPN, presented by AutoZone, and it is an intriguing heavyweight main event between Efe Ajagba, hard-punching veteran guy, and Stephen Shaw. Stephen Shaw takes this fight on 3 weeks' notice, and he's actually a slight favorite, right?
Yeah, and after he's a good boxer, but he has to show tonight that he can take the punch of Ajagba and that he has another gear because he's going to need it tonight. And for Efe has to show that he's outrun the GOAT to Frank Sanchez and that he can deal with the boxer better than he did in that fight.
Listen to me, there's boxing and then there's heavyweight boxing. Ain't nothing like seeing 2 big, huge Neanderthals knock the snot and snuffing out of each other, man. Let me tell you that. I'm excited tonight. I can't wait to see who's going to win this fight because the winner will move on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, bigger and better things. It could be for Stephen Shaw. Victory tonight earns him a fight against Jared Anderson, the 13-0 fighter with 13 knockouts, who is viewed by everybody as the next great one. for Ajagba, you win tonight, and perhaps you get an opportunity against Joe Joyce or Dubois, the British-based fighters. Of course, it is a year when heavyweights will get all the attention, as we anticipate that we will soon hear details of an undisputed heavyweight fight between Usyk and Fury taking place this spring, depending on what happens. But Fury and Usyk have been heading down that path for a long time now.
Vianello is a big body, obviously, good amateur pedigree, and he's a good fighter who has a lot still to learn in this pro game, but a lot of good bones. But he's also a guy that when you talk to him, he wants things to be perfect. He wants things to be just right for his confidence to be right, and that's not always going to be the case in a boxing ring.
He had an 11-4 connected advantage in round number 1, Vianello, the 2016 Olympian for Italy. There's a right hand that's able to connect.
On the back, like near the shoulder area, upper back test. You know, the one thing about Rice is he keeps his head off that line. He knows how to lean back just far to make those punches fall short of Guido. And you can see Guido now taking his attention, which is smart, to the chest of Rice, just trying to make contact with something.
He's putting that jab out there right to the sternum of Rice.
Like the rhythm of Vianello, he's keeping that engine moving. His body is feinting even when nothing is going on. That's keeping everything ready, so when he does want to punch, he doesn't telegraph. He can just shoot the shot.
Right hand came after the jab, and then a left to follow it. A 3-punch combination moments ago from Guido.
Let him go. Let him out. Let him out. Let him out. Let him out. Step out. Step out.
Steady work from the jab here in this second round from Vianello.
That's what he got to get on. I mean, nothing has materialized yet, but he needs to get that jab working. Once you get the jab working, then you're able to set up your power punches. See, that jab's gonna keep your opponent off balance. Gonna keep him off balance, keep him thinking, keeping that jab in his face.
Doubles it up that time, and then comes with the right hand, but Rice is able to back out of the way.
But he's reaching. Guido's reaching. He has to be careful. And when you reach, you got to bring your feet with you so you don't reach. He's bringing his top half first, and then his feet are following.
Rice is pretty nimble for a man that's 270, 280 pounds. He has small man moves sometimes defensively.
Upper body movement. Really good, elusive upper body movement.
And that's how he's been able to get away from those right hands here in this second round. But consistent work from the jab from Guido Vianello. Going to take a short break and get you right back to this heavyweight action.
You stop.
Eat like a king who's on a budget. 3 tasty options, fries, drink, and nuggets, all for $5. Wait, that can't be right. Just confirm that that's the real price. BK, have it your way.
We did it, Wilbur! Huzzah! Welcome back to our heavyweight doubleheader. You don't see those every day, nor do you see guys who are late replacements, Stephen Shaw and Johnny Rice, being called the favorites. They took this fight 3 weeks ago. Let's hope we'll see more of this. We know what we have at the top of the division. We're waiting for Usyk and Fury. But in the last year, Top Rank has signed 5 undefeated or 1-loss heavyweights. The hope is to build around Jared Anderson, who they project as the next star, and to a lesser extent, Richard Torres, the silver medalist in last year's Olympics.
I think it's a worthy promotional strategy, and you consider what we have in this heavyweight division. Obviously, it's currently very top-heavy with the megastar with Tyson Fury. The showdown with Usyk could be coming very soon. And then...
Yes, it is. And these guys, they come from all over the globe, not just British. You know, we've seen in the past, we saw the Klitschko's dominate, you know, a particular era. We've seen, you know, the Brits dominate a particular era. But there's a lot of talented fighters, heavyweight fighters from different countries.
See Guido trying to establish that jab and keep that jab pumping even when it doesn't land. It's not a wasted punch. That gets you in rhythm. That helps you to set up other punches, and it keeps the opponent at bay.
Man, Guido is supposed to have great legs, honestly, man. He was a tennis player.
His whole family.
He got to understand, he should know how to bring his legs first. Bring his legs first, not his upper body. He's lucky Rice is not countering him as he's leaping forward and lunging.
He comes from a family that runs the most prominent tennis academy in Italy, and then he's the one that goes off to become a professional fighter.
Yeah, he broke the family mold.
6'6", 239-pound Guido Vianello.
Woo! There it is. Right hand.
They landed right on the money.
Yeah, but that's the shot he's been waiting on all night. He's been waiting on Guido to stand still. Just for a second, just for a moment. He got the timing right on that right hand. Right down the middle. There it is
Rice
again.
tries to come with another right hand. Guido doubles up that jab.
I don't know if Rice is trying to conserve his energy because he took this fight on short notice, but he's a lot better offensively than he showed thus far in these first 3 rounds. He can fight.
That's exactly what he's doing.
He's thrown 50 fewer punches than Vianello to this point. End of 3. On ESPN is presented by AutoZone. Get in the zone. And in part by Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. Efe Ajagba's coming up in our main event. This is what happened back in 2018. The wacky win with his opponent, Curtis Harper, walking out of the ring. Some refer to it as the fastest victory in boxing history, as it was officially listed as a 1-second DQ win. Harper walked out of the ring on the opening bell. He said in protest over a pay dispute, saying he never had a signed contract. But Ronnie Shields, who at the time was Ajagba's trainer, said that at the weigh-in, Harper's wife went up to Efe Ajagba and said, "Please do not hurt my husband." That's what happened in 2018. I assure you he's going to have an opponent who's here hungry and getting after it tonight in Stephen Shaw, the undefeated fighter from St. Louis, who comes from a prominent boxing family in the Midwest, who has been frustrated really for the majority of his career for never having so much potential but never having the opportunity. Tonight he gets the opportunity. This is a launching pad kind of evening.
And he's going to want to seize that moment, Tess, because opportunities don't come often, and when they do, you make sure and you must be ready.
Round number 4 here of our heavyweight co-feature. Guido Vianello with a 36-17 connect advantage. Johnny Rice was able to land a right hand flush in the 3rd round. Round number 4 scheduled for 10.
Vianello is not landing as many shots as he'd like, is because he's doing the same thing over and over again. His approach to throwing the right hand and leaping in with the left hook, it's predictable. Doesn't mean he won't land it. If he throws enough, he just might land. But a guy like Rice, who has experience the way that he does, he can see that coming from a mile away. The only thing Rice isn't doing is countering, which he tried to do right there. And I think because he's trying to conserve his energy into the mid and late rounds.
I'm starting to see Guido get a little frustrated, rushing his shots. He's missing badly. It's something that he spoke about. The difficulty in fighting or sparring Rice was he had a hard time locating his head. He's really good defensively. You know,
he does have good upper body movement here, Tim.
But you can see it. He's trying his best.
He's a big man that makes small man movements.
Yep. Saw a glimpse of it.
That's
right
the
there.
first body shot that either fighter threw. I wish they would throw more.
You know the Eastern Europeans don't really go down to the body like that.
Good shot right there. That one finally connected.
And it seemed to get Rice's attention, and Rice came back immediately and tried to answer, but missed badly as well. I think Guido's going to have to make Rice fight. That's what he's going to have to do. He's going to have to land something significant because it seems that Rice wants to get that get back right away. As soon as Guido lands anything meaningful.
Goes.
Fellas, I used to see Johnny in the gym every day at Churchill, and he's as nice as he is big and physically talented, and that doesn't help him here. He needs to get mean and nasty. I really think it's that simple for him.
Churchill Gym referenced by Mark, the west side of Los Angeles. Guido Vianello, who's from Rome, actually went back to Italy for his last fight, has spent a lot of time on the west coast of the U.S. himself, moved to Vegas to get top sparring some years ago, was trained by Abel Sanchez, then Kevin Berry, and now back to the guy who was his original amateur trainer for his run up through the Olympics, and that is Simone D'Alessandre. He says the connection, the communication, very important to him, and he feels like he gets that with D'Alessandre.
See Vianello.
Go ahead.
Just coming with the same approach. I don't see any feints and then fire. I don't see a stick with the jab, lead hand, and then go throw to the body and come back to the head. There's no variation. And that's why you see a rinse and repeat sort of fight thus far in this first 5 rounds.
No, what I was going to say was I see Rice. The problem is he thinks too much. That's the problem. There's nothing on autopilot. You know, you go into training camp and you do drills and you work on the bag and you do your sparring because you want to develop habits in the ring to where it's on autopilot. You don't have to think about it. You see a jab, you just react to it. He's thinking too much.
We got to see something different from Vianello.
Long-range right hand from Rice. Vianello just able to get out of the way of it.
Yeah, if he lets the right hand go, Tess is going to land.
Because this may be a different situation if that was Stephen Shaw in there tonight.
I think that's a very good point, Trey. That was the original opponent.
Yes. A guy who can think, a guy who can box, a guy who's got attitude. Not the most aggressive guy, but a good boxer with a good coach in Bashir Abdullah. This may have been a different situation tonight. Vianello's boxing well, but you can see where there's space to go to another gear, and he's not doing it right now.
On the separation moments ago, a right uppercut was landed by Guido Vianello.
Both fighters
step to the inside that time as Rice came with a jab to the body, threw the right hand afterwards. Guido Vianello filled the gap.
Stop at the belt. Stop pulling his head down, man.
Joe, Tim, and Dre ringside with you. Round number 6 scheduled for 10. Our heavyweight co-feature before we get Efe Ajagba and Stephen Shaw, the heavyweight main event. When we spoke to Guido Vianello yesterday, he did mention upwards of 8 times sparring Rice, around 30 rounds, saying, you know, he always kept his head off the line, saying, I have to throw my punches with the right trajectory to find the target. Right now, that target has been somewhat elusive for Guido. He's 53 of 177 punches thrown.
Well, that's my point, Tess, is if you can't hit the head, why not hit that big body?
Because that ain't going anywhere.
It's not going nowhere.
At 6'5", 6'6", 275 pounds.
And Vianello has a good jab. Why don't you stick the jab to the chest or stick the jab to the gut, right in the solar plex, and then come with the right hand and see if it lands? These are the things that I want to see him develop, think through, and work his way through in the course of a fight. And I'm not seeing it right now.
He ain't been taught, Dre. He hasn't been taught. Look at them big swings like that. Right hands. You know, that's not clean work right there. And the guy as elusive as Rice, he gonna see that coming a mile away. He gonna see that coming.
And Rice is a tough guy to look good against.
Woo, send him back.
Got nothing to lose, everything to gain. He's not trying to win rounds. He just waits around, waits for you to make a mistake, lands a shot like that. All the burden is on Vianello. but that comes with the territory of being the up-and-coming rising guy.
He's cut now. My fight might have broken out. It's going to break out pretty soon. He's down Rice, gaining more confidence.
You see Rice waking up a little bit.
Seeing that blood.
The body language is changing ever so slightly.
Second time he's gotten his attention with the right hand, and you see significant blood coming from the left eye of Guido Vianello. It is a cut that appears to be on the left eyelid of Vianello here in round 6.
That's a bad cut.
That is a bad cut.
That is a bad cut.
It is.
How did the referee rule it?
Well, you saw the right hand land.
I saw it, but I want to make sure the referee
unless there's a clash, and we do not have replay here in New York State. But there was a right hand that landed from Rice early in this round, and the next thing you know, that left eye is streaming blood.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, but I think the best thing right now for Guido is he's not rubbing the eye. You know, when you rub the eye, you smear that blood inside the eye, and it blurs your vision.
The first time that Guido was cut was against Kingsley eBay, and he said the reason he changed trainers is because there was so much chaos with Kevin Berry in there that he was talking too much, and now he's got his regular trainer, D'Alessandri. Let's see how he reacts.
And that was a fight that we broadcast back in October of 2020 when he was cut over that same left eye back in the first round. Now back to his original trainer, speaking Italian in the corner. He feels more comfortable.
Non devi andare indietro, devi attaccare tu, capito? Oh, abbiamo un taglio, ormai lo devi ammazzare, capito? Non possiamo rischiare, tutto e per tutto.
Federico Cantizone is handling the cuts, and it is a bad gash. As bad of a spot as you can have a cut in this business. Directly above the eye, dripping blood into it.
Here we see a jab right there. And a right hand that landed just right on the spot. Just right on the spot, right on that eye that's been previously cut. We talk about blinding an opponent right there. That's exactly what it did. And Vianello stood right there in the range of the right hand of Johnny Rice, and that's what caused all the trouble.
So if this fight is stopped due to that cut, it is TKO victory for Johnny Rice in the first loss suffered for Guido Vianello. Round number 6, the big right hand opens up that massive cut. Round 7 scheduled for 10 now.
If that doesn't wake Johnny Rice up, nothing will. That should be all the motivation he needs to step on the gas, keep throwing, and keep trying to land the same right hand to try to get this fight stopped, because that cut is extremely bad.
Yeah, what Rice did was he timed the bounce. He timed the bounce of Guido. Guido, you see that little bounce right there that he's doing? He timed that with a right hand. As soon as he was up in the air, he let that right hand go. Landed right on the money.
And now they're going to bring the ringside position up. And if Dr. Alfredo Reed stops this fight, it is a TKO victory for Rice. Look at that gash.
Score the round. Score the round. Score the round.
I don't know why Benji Esteves is saying score the round.
He can't continue, so we're going to the scorecard.
Esteves is claiming this a clash of heads.
That's why I was trying to get clarity.
No.
Yeah, it was an accidental headbutt.
And you just heard Rice said, I hit that fill in the blank with a right hand. Johnny Rice is absolutely incredulous to what Benji Esteves is doing.
That's why I'm trying to get clarity, Tess.
Rice knows it was a right hand. We know it was a right hand. You, the viewer at home, knows it was a right hand. But somehow Benji Esteves says it was a clash of heads.
All right, man.
He never ruled it. He never ruled.
That's why.
He never ruled whether it was a punch or a clash.
But he can't continue. The doctor stopped it, so we go to the scorecards.
That's not right, man.
That's not right.
Since it started.
That's not right.
That's not right.
We do not have replay here in Turning Stone.
That's not right.
We're at the Turning Stone Casino. That's been open for 20 years, owned and operated by the Oneida Indian Nation, where Benji Esteves is the referee in this co-feature. There is the flush right hand that caused the cut. No cut there. Right hand lands. Next thing you know, blood is streaming down. And Rice knew it, and Rice said it to him.
That's a terrible call.
And I don't understand why the referee was sitting right there.
That's a terrible call.
Visually seeing the blood after that right hand on the chest of Guido.
They're robbing Johnny Rice of this victory right now, right before our eyes.
Ridiculous.
I know. You can only go by what you saw. But the right hand landed on the thing when you were on the other side. That's the punch. You mean you don't see it? Do the replay.
Don't do replay here.
If that butt was that bad to call a punch like that, you don't think he would call that?
Here,
right?
We don't do replay here, right?
If a butt calls a cut like that, don't you think he would stop the action?
No,
Correct.
Call a timeout and make it significant. And not that was a headbutt.
Right. I saw it clearly.
If a butt calls that,
I saw it clearly.
If there was a head clash of such significance to cause that level of a cut, he would have declared it.
That would be flagged. Never was.
I mean, that's incredible.
Listen, I don't care if you don't have instant replay. Do the right thing. That's what matters.
The announcer.
I don't know. No, you saw a headbutt.
I saw a headbutt. I didn't see a punch.
They're saying it was No, I know, but what we're saying is...
But we don't...
Look, if you go to the ESPN replay, it shows the punch, but you don't have that rule. I don't have that rule. I need to touch it down. You need to move away. I'm trying to help you.
I understand.
Okay.
We don't... Do you want to use the replay
Once
from
again,
ESPN?
we are on sovereign nation of the Oneida Indian Nation.
You know, if you're telling me you saw a headbutt,
Yeah.
I thought I saw a punch.
Okay.
Okay, so you want to look at the replay? We'll go to replay.
Now, all of a sudden, the commission here with the Oneida Nation is saying, let's go look at a replay. Here, bring him down here, Carl. Listen, if all of a sudden they want to ad-lib and watch replay, let's do whatever it takes to make...
Just turn it around. I want to see the
Well,
replay.
I can't, Benji, so come on down here for a second, Benji.
Okay.
Benji, come on down here for a second. Guys, I'm going to put Benji on the spare headset
Just
here.
show me, just show
Okay,
me.
go ahead. Show him the replay, guys. Here's what happened in the 6th round. We'll show you this. There's no cut at this moment. Here comes the right hand. So right now, Benji Esteves, the veteran referee, is seeing the moment in the 6th round where the right hand lands flush from Rice. There was no cut previous to that. He wants you to keep rolling it here so he can see. And right there, there's the cut that begins right there, as you see on the cheek, and then continues on.
Punch then. We'll do the punch then. He wins by knockout. Okay.
Bill Rossi, the chief inspector for the Oneida Nation, made the call here, as well as his colleagues, to say, hey, listen, here's what we saw. You want to go look at replay, and on the spot, the folks from the Oneida Indian Nation who run the commission here change things.
Good for them.
The replay shows it was a punch, so he's going to be the winner by TKO. It was a punch, so he's going to be the winner by TKO.
Listen,
Okay.
at the end of the day,
commission
common
allowed me
sense
to
just
use
prevailed.
The replay from ESPN. It was a punch, so you're the winner by TKO.
Johnny Rice just found out that he just got the win. That right hand in round number 6 earns him the TKO victory. Jimmy?
Just fantastic. They did the right thing. Even without having instant replay here, they did the right thing.
Yeah, the replay shows. Yeah.
They can do whatever they want. This is a sovereign nation we're sitting on right here.
It's fantastic.
After review, the punch in the 6th, doctor stops it in the 7th. After review, TKO victory for Rice.
They did the right thing.
This is fantastic.
Oftentimes, guys like Johnny Rice get robbed in this sport. They don't get the opportunity like this. That almost happened. It got reversed, and the right guy won tonight.
Here's Mark Chinook.
Ladies and gentlemen, here inside Turning Stone Resort and Casino, Ringside physician calls a stop to this bout in the 7th round, caused by a punch in the 6th round. Your winner by technical knockout, Johnny Rice.
Johnny Rice hands Guido Vianello the first loss of his career. He was ultra judicious with his right hand. Landed it a couple times early, but when he needed it the most, it won him the fight. In round number 6, landing flush on that left eye, opening up that gruesome cut that there was no returning from Vianello. The doctor came up, he took a look, he felt it was in the best interest, in the health and safety of the fighter, to stop the fight. And then they went to replay, even though they were going to go to the scorecards for a technical decision, and said Johnny Rice is deserving of the win. All right, we are ready now for our